The Galactic Council chamber floated in the void between stars, a marvel of crystalline architecture that had witnessed 10,000 years of diplomatic discourse. Today, it would witness something entirely different. Imelda stood at the human delegation's platform, her dark eyes scanning the assembled representatives of 47 species. Beside her, Tiberius maintained the relaxed posture that had become synonymous with human diplomacy, deceptively casual, always alert. The motion to restrict human expansion into Sector 447 is absurd, Imelda stated, her voice carrying across the vast chamber. We've followed every protocol, every regulation. Ambassador Quilleth, a towering insectoid from the Viridian Collective, clicked his mandibles in what passed for their species' version of dismissive laughter. Your kind moves too quickly, claims too eagerly. You are barely 3 centuries into spacefaring civilization, yet you spread like a plague. Tiberius felt his jaw tighten, but Imelda placed a subtle hand on his forearm. Not yet, we spread like an ambitious species, she corrected, which is what brought each of you to the stars as well, if your histories are honest. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of translated objections. The council had grown comfortable in their stagnation, their careful balance of power maintained through endless bureaucracy. Humanity's rapid expansion threatened that comfortable equilibrium. Then the alarm screamed. The chamber's central hologram flickered to life, showing a sector of space that made Tiberius's blood run cold. Sector 229, the nursery worlds. 12 planets designated as protected spawning grounds for species who required specific environmental conditions for their young. Among them was Earth's own colony, New Providence, where 15,000 human children lived and learned. Unknown vessels. The station's AI announced, detecting weapons signatures. They're targeting the nursery worlds. The council dissolved into panic. Representatives scattered to their communication stations, calling their homeworlds, their fleets. But Tiberius knew what they'd find. The council's military response protocols required committee approval, subcommittee review, and strategic assessment. It would take hours those children didn't have. He watched the hologram as the unknown ship's sleek, predatory things began their approach vectors. Pirates, most likely. The nursery worlds were poorly defended by design to avoid militarizing spaces meant for children. Imelda's hand found his again, but this time it wasn't restraining. It was confirming. Council, Tiberius said, his voice cutting through the chaos with a tone that made several species flinch instinctively. We need immediate authorization to respond. Impossible. Quilleth shrieked. Protocol demands, fuck your protocols, Imelda interrupted. And the translation systems struggled with the venom in her voice. Those are children. Our children. Your children. The Viridian ambassador drew himself up. The proper channels must be. He never finished. Tiberius had already activated his personal communicator. Captain Zhao, authorization code Tiberius 9 Omega. Protocol Broken Arrow is active. Across the council chamber, diplomatic facades crumbled as the humans revealed what they'd hidden in plain sight. The civilian ships that had accompanied the diplomatic delegation suddenly lit up with military-grade engines. Weapons ports opened on hulls that had seemed unremarkable moments before. You brought warships to a peace summit. A crystalline delegate accused. We brought insurance, Imelda replied coldly. And you should be grateful. The hologram updated. The human ships were already moving, their acceleration crushing what the council had believed were the limits of inertial dampening. Technology. They crossed distances in minutes that should have taken hours. The council watched in stunned silence as humanity's predator instinct ignited. The pirate vessels had expected easy prey. What they encountered was something else entirely. The human ships moved like sharks, sensing blood, their formations fluid and aggressive. Where council species fought with careful calculation and risk assessment, humans fought with controlled fury. They're not even trying to disable. Amphibious observer whispered. They're going straight for kill shots. Of course they are, Tiberius said, his voice flat. You don't negotiate with threats to children. You eliminate them. The engagement lasted 7 minutes. When it ended, the pirate fleet was debris, and the nursery worlds were secure. Human marines were already deploying to the surface, their movements precise and purposeful. establishing perimeters that the Council's defensive doctrine wouldn't have imagined possible. The Council chamber remained silent as the human ships returned to formation around the diplomatic station. But something had changed. The way the other species looked at Imelda and Tiberius now carried a weight it hadn't before. Understanding and fear. "You lied to us," Quilleth finally managed. "Your civilian fleet is civilian," Imelda interrupted. "Those captains are merchants, explorers, colonists. But every human ship carries weapons, Ambassador. Every human learns to fight. Because we come from a world where everything wanted to eat us. And we decided we'd rather do the eating." She stepped forward. And despite being a fraction of the Viridian's size, Quilleth retreated. "You want to know why we expand so quickly? Why we claim so eagerly? Because we've learned that hesitation kills. That threats don't wait for committee approval. That sometimes the only thing standing between children and monsters is the willingness to become the bigger monster." Tiberius joined her, his posture no longer casual. "You've had peace for so long you've forgotten what it costs. You've built your council on the assumption that everyone will follow rules, respect protocols, wait for permission. We come from a place where the universe doesn't ask permission." The hologram showed New Providence's spaceport, where human children were emerging from shelters, waving at the Marines who'd protected them. Other species young joined them, saved by humans who'd broken every diplomatic protocol to do what the Council couldn't. "The motion to restrict human expansion," Imelda said quietly, "is withdrawn. Because you've just learned what every predator on Earth learned millions of years ago. Humans don't ask to survive. We simply do. And heaven help anyone who threatens what we protect." The Council voted unanimously. The motion was withdrawn. Humanity's expansion would continue, unrestricted. But more importantly, every species present understood a fundamental truth they'd been too comfortable to see. Humanity had brought something to the stars that the galaxy had almost forgotten. The willingness to bear fangs when necessary. The predator's instinct. The simple, terrifying truth that some species don't just survive, they conquer. And humanity had just shown the galaxy which kind they were.